A society faces three basic economic problems. The first one is what to produce in what quantity. It is also known as the problem on resource allocation. Should a society direct most of its resources to the production of military equipment, for example, or to other items such as foods, clothing, or housing? A society cannot have everything its people want, so it must decide what to produce and also in what quantity. So this basic problem arises due to available resources are limited, so we need to make a choice, and resources have alternative uses, and our wants are basically unlimited. The second basic question is that how to produce. It is known as the problem on technology use. Should a factory owners use mass production methods that require a lot of equipments and few workers, or should they use less equipment and more workers? Now, that is the question that the producers should ask. If an area has many unemployed people, the second method might be better. On the other hand, mass production methods in countries where machinery and equipment is widely available can often lower production costs. Lower costs make manufactured items less expensive and therefore available to more people. So, the basic problem of how to produce arises due to alternative combinations of factors of production. So, as I have mentioned in the example here, it can be either labor intensive technology. Larger portion of total cost is due to labor as compared with the portion of costs incurred in purchase, maintenance, and depreciation of capital equipment. So, agriculture, construction industries are examples of labor industries, or they can use what is known as capital intensive. That means large sums of investments in purchase, maintenance, and depreciation of capital equipment, such as automotive, petroleum industries, is known as capital intensive process. This technology needs high volume of production, mass production, and high margin of profit. Since the payment of capital is interest, low interest rates actually encourage capital intensive process. So it depends on a society where there are a lot of unemployed laborers, so they might the producers might adopt to labor intensive technology. When there is more availability of capital, they might actually use capital intensive technology. So this is where the alternative combinations of factors of production come into play. The second reason is that there is a change in comparative costs in choosing in what mix that they can use labor and capital. And the third reason is that we have limited resources. We cannot have all the laborers because there is a limited supply in laborers or in capital, so the choice has to be made. The third basic economic problem is that for whom to produce. Now this is known as the problem on distribution. After a society decides what and how to produce, the things produced must be distributed to someone. If a society decides to produce housing, for example, should it be distributed to workers, professional people, or government employees? If there are not enough houses for everyone, a choice must be made as to who will receive the existing supply. The basic economic problem of for whom to produce arises due to the limitation of the quantity goods produced and also the changes of personal purchasing power. So these questions concerning what, how, and for whom to produce are not easy for any society to answer. Nevertheless, they must be answered as long as there are not enough resources to supply people seemingly unlimited wants, and that is being the fundamental economic problem, that is scarcity. So these basic economic problems arise because of scarcity. So even though the basic economic problems are common for all, the methods used to solve the problem differs from society to society. As we will move on to next videos in our next chapters, you will understand that different economic system will try to solve these fundamental problems using different methodologies.